Let's get up for Johnny Harkins! Hear it, everybody! Woo! Did you hear how many supers that was? I'm hilarious. What's up, guys? How are y'all? Good? Yeah. Let's talk about current events. Let's talk about shit that's actually going down. Can't get more recent than the State of the Union, right? That was like fucking yesterday. That's some current shit right there. I was really interested in the State of the Union, and I'm a nerd. I'm like a historian. I'm a tour guide in real life. So I was like, all right, let me find out some interesting shit about the State of the Union. Did you know, fact, go home and look it up, there is what we call the designated survivor. That is a real thing. Starting in 1971, in the Cold War, they said, whoa, we have all of Congress, we have the entire president's cabinet, we have all the Supreme Courts in one room. If some shit goes down and we get attacked, bam, government's over. So they said, we need to, look this shit up. They assigned someone the designated survivor. They pick one random congressman, look this up, send him to some undisclosed location, top secret, they don't know, nobody knows. This person gets a presidential detail, gets Secret Service. This guy gets the nuclear launch codes. Swear to God, next to him, right? Here's the kicker. This is true. This person is given no instructions on what to do in the event there is some kind of attack. They just leave it at that. They just go, all right, you know, they haven't cut off the head of the snake. There will be a new government. And I was blown away by this when I found out that it was like Cold War shit. We were afraid of nuclear attacks and whatnot. We're like, we have to do this. I looked through, they have it documented, all the past designated survivors. They're all like these stupid positions. It's like Department of Education Secretary, like head of the Environmental Protection Agency. It's all these like things, like make it a general, make it like a fucking head of state or something. It's these bullshit jobs. It really freaked me the fuck out. I was like, that's scary to think of. I find that interesting. State of the Union stuff, right? Another fun fact about the State of the Union shit. All right, so the first State of the Union was given by, surprise, surprise, George Washington, right? So this is 1789. It's a brand new country. People were freaking out. The literal State of the Union was like, we're still a country. Like, things are good. 1801, Thomas Jefferson says, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to give a State of the Union. No, just don't want to. Seems very monarchical. This is like, I'm not a king on a throne talking to the peasants. Fuck it. I'm going to write a letter, and then that's going to be it. It's going to be, things are cool. Let's, you know, War of 1812's on the way. Gonna purchase Louisiana. Let's just be cool. That's how it was for over 100 years. Look it up. Not a single State of the Union was delivered by a person until 1913. They didn't start up again until the radio and television came around, because all of a sudden presidents were like, damn, I can like put some, you know, guy sitting next to the first. It's like a photo op, basically. It became very publicized, very like publicity shit. I just think that was fucked up. I was like, that's interesting. That it used to just be like, I'm gonna write a letter, just talking to Congress. Changed. You know what else is recent? Martin Luther King Day. How was everybody's Martin Luther King Day? Was it good? Did anybody do anything special for Martin Luther King Day? Did anybody go out and do something special? Or did they just celebrate it in the traditional customs of Martin Luther King Day? Not going to school, not going to the bank, not going to the post office, not going to the library. That's so fucked up, isn't it? I think that is an insult, actually. I think it is a terrible way to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy. By just turning it in, the federal holidays suck. It's basically, that's another fucking, I did a lot of research before the show. Fucking, they passed an act where they just moved shit to Mondays. Basically, a lot of people were like, we like 3-day weekends. We like 3-day weekends. So, Labor Day, Columbus Day, fucking President's Day, Veterans Day, Memorial Day. It used to be like days. And sometime in the 60s, people were like, fuck that. Fuck it. Who cares? Move it to Mondays. We want 3-day weekends. And I get that. I'm kind of, okay, I understand that. But not when it's an actual day. Like Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday is a day. February 19th. It doesn't move around. It's not like fucking Easter. It's not judged by the moon. It's a day. And they moved it. And I think that's fucked up. They did that with a lot of shit. It used to be George Washington's birthday. But they moved it. They moved it to a random-ass Monday. So now we call it President's Day. Which is bullshit. I don't want to celebrate shitty presidents. I'm celebrating fucking, Millard Fillmore and Buchanan and Rutherford B. Hayes. I want to be celebrating goddamn George Washington, I think that's bullshit. I think that's bullshit, in my opinion. And it's bullshit how they came up with it, too. They were like, okay, George Washington's birthday is February 22nd. Abraham Lincoln's birthday is February 12th. Neither of those days will ever be the second Monday in February. So they were like, perfect. It just combines them. It just fucking makes it President's Day. And that pisses me off. Columbus Day, Christopher Columbus landed in America, the New World, well, like Cuba, but October 12th, 1492. We know the date. But now it's just the second Monday in October, whatever, which is already Canadian Thanksgiving. Isn't that so like Columbus to just fuck up the indigenous? Columbus, by the way, one of the worst people in the history of the world. Christopher Columbus, asshole, terrible guy. One of the worst people ever. There are only 3 people that get federal holidays. Martin Luther King, George Washington, and Christopher Columbus. Martin Luther King is all of a sudden in some pretty shitty company. That's a tight circle, right? That is a plantation owner from Virginia, our good friend George Washington, and fucking Christopher Columbus. One of the worst, first of all, moron. Christopher Columbus went to his grave convinced he discovered a new way to get to India. Like, there's letters. He wrote a letter to the Pope in like 1502 saying like, damn, the Orient's pretty cool. Like, idiot. Like, do not, it was this guy, Amerigo, like Vespucci Rococo Americano, that was like, this is a new, I've been to India before. Like, I've been there. Nobody's speaking Chinese. Like, this is a new continent. This is not India, And I think he gets so much credit, Christopher Columbus, but he was a fucking dumbass. If you look at, if you go home and look at my computer, it's like the Wikipedia page for Christopher Columbus, the Wikipedia page for State of the Union. And that shit was blowing my mind. Columbus sucked. He gave us the term Indians, which I think is funny. That's why we called them Indians for so long. And that's supposed to be offensive, Like, oh, Indians. But like, Native Americans is so much more offensive than Indians. It's like saying, you were in America the whole time, guys. You're Native Americans, you're not Indians. To me, that's way more offensive. And they're trying to change the sports teams, too. Like, the Redskins, that's, the Indians, the Blackhawks. You know what's way more offensive than all those names? What about scalpers? Ticket scalpers? When's that? That's the worst. We're trying not to offend Indians. That's the way to go. Guys, hope you've all enjoyed this history lesson. I'm Johnny. Go home and look up Christopher Columbus. It's going to change your freaking mind. Have a good night, everybody. Take care.